Hi, happy Thanksgiving. Today I'll share with you an easy recipe for delicious, moist, plant-based tamales. It's not as hard as you might think, and it's 100% worth it. Today we're making tamales two ways. We're gonna make red chili tofu tamales and vegan green chili squash tamales. To start, we need soft, pliable corn husks. Quickly rinse and soak in water for 2 to 12 hours, or soak in boiling water for 30 minutes. First, we'll make the red chili sauce. I use red chili sauce in the masa mixture, in the red chili tofu filling, and as a topping. I use bueno red chili powder. You can use any chili powder or even make your own powder using dried peppers. The sauce is optional. You can make the recipe without it, but I love the red chili flavor. For the sauce, add 4 tablespoons of oil to a pan over medium-high heat. Mix in 6 tablespoons of flour. Heat until lightly brown. Then slowly add 4 cups of water. Add salt, garlic, and red chili powder to taste. Bring to a boil. Once boiling, reduce to a simmer. For the tofu filling, start by pressing the water out of the tofu. You may do this by squeezing the water out with your hands, placing a heavy object on the tofu, or using a tofu press. I use a tofu press. After the tofu is pressed, add the tofu to a lightly greased pan over medium heat. Separate the tofu into small pieces using a spatula. Cook the tofu until it starts to turn golden. Add the chili sauce to the tofu. Add salt, liquid smoke, garlic powder, chili powder, and spices of your choice. Ta-da! Filling number 1 is complete. On to filling number 2. For filling number 2, we have our squash green chili mix. To start, chop up a sweet onion. Add it to the pan. Next, chop up some zucchini. Add the zucchini to the pan. Chop up some yellow squash. Add the yellow squash to the pan. Chop up fresh chilies. Add the fresh chilies to the pan. Finally, add in a can of yellow corn. Cook until the onions are gold and the zucchini is soft. Masa corn mixture time. For this, you need instant corn masa flour. We're gonna add 3 cups of instant corn masa flour to a large mixing bowl. Add 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 to 2 teaspoons of baking powder. The baking powder is completely optional. Add 1.5 cups water. Add 1/2 cup vegetable oil. And finally, add 2 cups of red chili sauce. For the red chili sauce, the water, the vegetable oil, really what you need is a total of 4 cups of liquid. So however you want to do that is fine. If you want to replace the red chili sauce with more water or with some vegetable broth for a little more flavor, you can go ahead and do that. I use just plain vegetable oil. Any oil would be fine, but if you use a different oil, it might have a little bit of that flavor to it. The vegetable oil is fairly neutral. You can also use shortening in place of the vegetable oil. Mix and mix and mix until it feels like delicious edible Play-Doh. If it's too sticky, add a little more masa flour, and if it's too dry, add a little water. Now it's time to assemble our tamales. There's a smooth side to the corn husks and a rough side. You want to put the masa on the smooth side. If you kind of rub your fingers along the corn husk, you'll likely feel that one side's a little smoother than the other one. I put about a handful of masa mixture towards the top of the corn husk. and I just want to leave some room at the top and some room at the bottom. Room at the bottom because we're gonna fold it up, and then a little room at the top because they'll expand a little while they cook. I hold the corn husk in my hand and just pat about a third cup of masa onto the corn husk. I flatten it with my hand until it's probably about a fourth an inch thick. The masa to filling ratio is entirely up to you. You can make them far thinner or thicker. After we have a nice even rectangular layer of masa, we'll put a heaping tablespoon or two of our filling right in the center. To finish assembly of our cute little tamal, close the husk by folding one side across to the other and back and forth till it's just round and beautifully closed. Lastly, fold the bottom of the husk upward about 2 inches and continue to do this until you've made all your tamales. Don't need to tie the bottom, but I think it just makes them so cute and it feels like you're opening a Christmas gift with a beautiful bow. I also like to use the little ties, the little bows to distinguish between the two fillings. So I used the ties on the red chili tamales, and then I didn't tie the green chili ones. Finally, we steam our tamales. I used a pressure cooker. You can use any pot to steam your tamales. You just want to make sure they're standing so that the filling doesn't spill out the top. Steam your tamales for about an hour. Test to see if they're done by removing one tamal. If it comes out nice and clean from the corn husk, you'll know it's ready to enjoy. Yum! Stick in. This tamal was so incredibly moist. By day 5, they aren't going to be as moist. What you'll want to do to fix this is put some moisture back into that tamal. So on day 2 to 3, 4, 5 of eating your tamales, you'll want to either spray your tamal before you eat it with some water, or what I find works best is getting a paper towel wet and then wrapping the tamal in the paper towel and then putting it in the microwave, and that just kind of re-steams it all over again. One thing that I love about tamales is how well they freeze. So feel free to make 2-3 times this many tamales and then just freeze them and enjoy them for a month or 2. Thanks for watching. Enjoy some delicious tamales.